everyone. I am back. I don't know if you're like me, but I always buy a bunch of bananas with, really good intentions. I buy them when they're green, and for whatever reason, I never can finish my bananas. So I've got a couple of pretty ripe bananas and I got some peanut butter. I decided I'm going to make some chunky monkey bread, which is basically peanut butter, banana, and chocolate chip bread. This is something that I really enjoy eating, and it's a good way to use up those overly ripe bananas. So, first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees and grease the bottom only of a loaf pan here. I like to use glass or ceramic loaf pans because they bake more evenly and um, they tend not to burn. So, all right, so let me do that and we're going to come on back and I'll show you how to make this yummy treat. First thing you want to do is grab 3 to 4 medium-sized bananas. I only have 2, so I'm just going to use my 2 bananas. I think there'll be plenty for this recipe, and I'm going to mash them with an electric mixer. Okay, next you add half a cup of peanut butter. I use a natural peanut butter. You can use creamy or crunchy, whatever you prefer. 1/3 cup of white sugar and 1/3 cup of firmly packed light brown sugar. I did significantly decrease the amount of sugar that the original recipe calls for. I just try to watch my sugar intake. The bananas are sweet enough. The peanut butter adds some sweetness, so we don't really need to go crazy on the sugar. We're going to mix this really well and then add some more good stuff after that. Next, you add half a cup of buttermilk, 2 large eggs, and a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. I am using a double strength vanilla extract myself, but that's what I like. We're going to mix this together. Okay, in a separate bowl, you're going to mix up together 2.5 cups of flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. Now, I used 1 cup of regular organic all-purpose flour and I'm sorry, it was 1.5 cups of regular flour and 1 cup of superfine almond flour. We're going to mix this together with the baking soda and the salt. Okay, so our flours, our baking soda, and salt are all mixed together. I used a fork. It makes it easier. And we're going to gradually add this to the liquid ingredients and, gently mix it. We don't want to over mix this because otherwise your banana bread will turn out really tough. I like using almond flour mixed with regular flour because it lightens up the texture of quick breads, pound cakes, even other types of cakes. I just like it, and it cuts down on some of the gluten, makes it a little bit healthier. So I'm going to mix this up, and then we're going to add about a cup of milk chocolate chips to this at the end. Okay, so I didn't fully mix the flour yet, so right when you get to that point is when you want to add your chocolate chips, and then you can finish mixing everything together. This batter will be thick and lumpy, but again, you don't want to overmix it or you're going to get a really tough banana bread. Okay, after you've mixed up your dry ingredients with the wet ingredients and then added your cup of milk chocolate chips, and of course you're going to mix it on low speed only until the dry ingredients are moistened. You're going to scrape that into your loaf pan. Again, you're only greasing the bottom of the loaf pan so that as this rises, it can grip onto the sides and you get a nice high crown on it. I'm going to sprinkle this with some chopped salted nut topping. It's delicious. I found this actually at the grocery store, and I'm like, you could put this on more than just ice cream. And I have just a little bit left, and it's kind of a night where I'm just going through and using up my leftovers or things that are almost empty. So I'm going to sprinkle my banana bread with the salted nut topping before I pop it in the oven. But it's a mix of like macadamia nuts, pecans, almonds, cashews, walnuts, Brazil nuts, filberts, pistachios, and peanuts. It is delicious, let me tell you. And if you want, you can maybe add a few more chocolate chips on the top, although they might burn in the oven. So we'll just leave it like this. And this is going to go in our 350-degree oven for about, I'm going to say, an hour. At about an hour, you want to test it with a cake tester or a toothpick. And if it comes out dry, it's done. If not, you're going to have to bake it maybe, up to another 20 minutes or so, depending on your oven. My oven runs a little bit cool, so I'm going to probably have mine in the oven for at least an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, our chunky monkey bread is done. It did take about an hour and 20 minutes in my oven because my oven runs cool, but it is perfectly golden brown. It is nice and set. The whole house smells like peanut butter, banana, and chocolate. It just smells amazing. So we're going to let this cool in the pan for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to run a butter knife around the edges and then turn this out onto a wire rack to finish cooling. But that is our chunky monkey peanut butter banana chocolate chip bread. Check out the recipe, try it out, let me know what you think down in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.